Hello and welcome to Six Figure Souls Doing Good and Making Money, a special season 5 highlighting my co-authors of our collaborative book project, The Ultimate Guide to Creating Your Soul-Aligned Business, 25 Practical Strategies from the Expert. I am your host, Camille Miller, lead author for the book and pioneer of the Soul Professional Movement. Today we have one of our authors with us, Barb Pritchard, who wrote chapter 5, Own Your Magic, Become Magnetic with a Soul-Aligned Brand. Thank you, Barb, for being a part of our podcast today and sharing your story with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Thank
It's such
you.
an honor.
I absolutely loved your chapter, and you really had a very heart-touching story. You went and told about the relationship with your dad and your father, and how you had this aha moment. I think we all have these aha moments, right? We have a couple of them in our lives, but this particular aha moment of just saying, screw it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it the way I was told. Like, I don't have to do this anymore. I can just release this. And I thought it was such a beautiful story. But you then go on to talk about your magic, your brand story is your unique magic. Like what you went through is all a part of your brand story, which is beautiful, because I will tell you, this book is the first time I ever told my story. So yeah. So
Totally
that's gonna be my next question. Like, and then like once it came out, it's like, wow, I feel like this whole other piece of me is ready to blossom. And I've hired a speaking coach to do stage work. And I'm just like, I'm going big, because I can't be a part of this movement without talking about all of this. And reading other people's stories in this book, I was amazed at how alike they are and how different they are, right? But I feel like at some point we all went through the same thing.
Seriously, there are so many parallels here. You saying this and then reading the other chapters too. I feel like there's so many like parallels here, really, because like just you saying this, it's like, that first off, I feel like there are so many of us breaking the mold, and it's scary, right?
Yeah.
And then just sharing the stories. It's like we are, for me, for example, and let me know if you identify with this. It's like, I don't like to throw people under the bus. I mean, for me, my mom always told me to, we don't tattle on people. You don't tell on people.
Right.
That's just, I don't like to do that. And I didn't want to, as much hell as my father put me through, I still don't want to paint him in an ugly light. It's just, I'm not an ugly person. I don't want to make him look ugly, as much as I don't have many kind words for him still, though, I mean, I didn't want to do that, but
he's part of your story, though.
He's still part of my story. I still have to tell that. And it's interesting because you mentioned too, you tell your story, you put it out there. You hired a speaking coach, totally did the same thing. So I hired a speaking coach too, and like she helped me to like totally hold my story just a little bit more and like get it out there too, and then it kind of like help me to put that into a way to like help it to relate to others as well. So after I really kind of helped writing this book, writing this chapter in this, I didn't expect this to be therapeutic either. I thought I'd healed from it.
I think this is a piece. Yeah, I feel like it's next level. Like I had to go through my therapy, my hurt, all the things that I had to go through before I was at that moment. And like you, I was like, how much do I put in here? And I can't tell you how much I deleted, because I had to say it's part of the story, but none of it mattered. I didn't have to tell that piece of it. Right.
Exactly. And I think that's part of my, that's what my piece is about too. It's like, getting your magic into your brand. And by brand, of course, I mean every interaction that clients have with your business. You need to get your story in there, find your magic, dump that story out, get it out, because it's therapeutic, right? You've got to edit it. You don't want to put the whole thing in there because you don't want the pain in there. You're not focusing on that pain. You're focusing on the healing aspect of it, right?
Right.
And that
Right.
was the beautiful part of it. And I did not expect there to be even more healing in there. But there was. And there still is. There's always going to be to share with people. So, and the beautiful part of this is like, I had a moment, an opportunity, even after writing this very chapter with you beautiful folks, to speak about this. And I had so many people coming up to me like, Barb, this totally resonated with me. And I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah. I think that was the amazing part, because I wasn't going to do it. And it was actually going through the editing piece and reading this one paragraph out to everyone and just seeing everyone start to cry.
Yes.
And like, oh my God, we didn't know that happened to you.
Yes.
And that's when I was like, oh, I think I got to leave it in there. Like,
and this is
like,
why we do this.
That was the piece, right? But I came out of it so much stronger because I felt like there was probably a piece that I was hiding all this time, right? That was a part of my story and can be a part of so many other people's stories, right? Because we all have this baggage.
Yeah,
but I
and
didn't
this
want
is
it
why.
to change like
Exactly.
too much, but the power I feel now, because now I'm like, it's out, I'm done, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is the whole point. This is why we need to stand strong in our magic, because look at the connection you and I just created right here.
Yeah.
This is everything about owning your magic. You're building relationships. I mean, and here it is, we all have to market our businesses, blah, gross. But when you own your magic, you share your stories, you're sharing your power, you're sharing that magic that's within you. It makes the marketing easy. It's not even marketing anymore.
Well, I think that's truly the difference. Like, so now as I hire like my speaking coach, and I be on stage telling my story, it's really not about just my story, but it's like everyone's journey. And I mean, that's how this podcast actually started. The original podcast was telling people stories of, it's called Six Figure Souls, Doing Good and Making Money, because it was so important that people that stayed soulfully aligned and authentic and true and followed their path, they still make money. And now in our brand, we're talking about building wealth and awakening your financial and spiritual potential. That's like our new brand, like words, but it took us years to put that in there, because I think also people were looking at the holistic people, the soul aligned people of, you're not supposed to make money. Right. And then 2020, I needed to really step out and go like, yes, you are. Because
you can make money.
Repair the world, but we can't repair the world until we start building wealth. Right. Yes. And then we can use our dollars to impact the things that we care about. Right. That's what it's all about. And 100%. Being able to now shift what I talk about and say, your brand, whatever you're doing, whatever your work is, and everyone is so unique in their own brand. And I don't care if you say, well, 10 other people do it, like a coach, right? There's so many coaches in the world, but every single one of them is so uniquely different because it's that person, it's their experience. You can only attract you. You can only attract what you went through, right? So I think that that's so important as we all tell our stories. And this podcast was originally set, we're doing a special season now, but it was originally set to tell people stories that everyone didn't end up at the top, that there's a piece of that growth and, lots of addictions and going bankrupt and lots of people leaving spouses and becoming like homeless shelters, like all sorts of stuff came out in these people's stories before they hit where they needed to go or are now. So I think it's so important to talk about these stories. And
absolutely. And you feel like, I feel like when you first started, or I guess all of it, well, I guess I shouldn't speak for all of us, right? But I think so many of us, when we start in our business, we feel like we have to present ourselves a certain way. And maybe that comes from the corporate world. Maybe it comes from, I don't know. I mean, that's like part of my story too, is like conformity now. And I grew up in an environment where my mom, bless her heart, she I'm just so grateful that I had the opportunity to express myself in ways that I know many didn't. But then, you know, it came time to be an adult and I'm doing just robot, you know, because I had to go out in corporate because that's what's expected. That's what my mom knew. That's all she knew.
Right.
That's not for me, but I struggled, you know, I mean, it was difficult for me, but, so of course I'm doing side hustles, trying to figure this out, trying to fumble. That's not what they teach them. They don't teach this kind of stuff in college, how to be an entrepreneur or anything like that, and fumbling and picking myself back up because I'm so not a quitter. It's just not who I am. Just got to get back up and try.
Yeah.
And finally figuring out being me is that's the ticket.
Yeah. That was how I next leveled. It was doing the inner work. It was stop selling and do the inner work. And then I just started attracting. It's a totally different way of doing business. It's scary. But now
it really is.
I attract who I am. Like I attract these people, and the amount of people that have been coming in lately is crazy. And I'm like, how did they hear about us? But it's cool. But I just like, don't question it. Just let it keep going and be grateful. Let them all meet each other. This is what I call my legacy. Like I'm leaving my legacy in the world by creating the organization. So what happens to it is the world's problem, right? Like
I've added some really cool words like remarkable to my vocabulary. I never used this word before in my life, but it is remarkable because I mean, I don't know. It's like you start really just kind of just being you. Who else can you be? Why else would you want to be anybody else? This is the easiest way to be. And then people see that. It's like, I love your energy. I love your vibe. And it's like, well, thanks. I'm just being me. I just know how, that's all I know how to be. And people are like, well, I want to just be me. Totally do it. You can be you. And then you know what? People are like, hey, let's just hang out on Zoom. All right, cool. Let's do that because I'm in Funky Town, Texas. I don't know where you are, but I just want to hang out with you too. And I can't be in person with you right now if you're way across the states or the world, but let's just hang out and let's do that. So we get to, because of the way the world works now. And we get to do that now. This is so cool.
It's fun.
Like I know. We're just getting to be hanging out because we're friends now. And you know, I love this. I love it. This is the way we get to market using, you know, this is fun.
I call it relationship marketing. It's not transactional. It's relationship marketing.
And even now, I just want to say gather. Let's just gather. Let's just have gatherings because I don't even like to use the word marketing anymore. It's just, you know.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about your experience writing your chapter.
Yeah.
Are you a first-time author?
I'm actually not. I'm still fairly new-ish, but this is probably my second or third time, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what made you decide to join this particular project?
Well, so fellow co-author Amy Floyo. Yeah. So she introduced, or actually she was like, hey, you totally, this is totally aligned with what you do. And I saw that it said soul aligned, and soul aligned is used in my branding all the time because I've been on my woo-woo walk since 2020 and I started really owning this stuff. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to own my magic. I'm just going to start using the words because this is it. So I saw soul aligned business and I was like, this is it. Spirit, is this it? Is this what I need to do? And I was like, yeah. So then I started kind of like, I won't say creep in on you, but I was just kind of like, what's Camille all about? And I was like, I love your energy. So I was like, yeah, I totally want to be a part of this. And like, so I applied and all of this, like, yeah, this is a no brainer. I totally want to be a part of this. And it felt like it was full of ease and flow. So of course I wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It went way easier than I thought. It was a big undertaking. And I backed up a few times before I decided, okay, I'm gonna really do this. And then when I decided, and the same thing, I decided that I'm gonna do it. And I decided I didn't need to know how those authors were coming together. Yeah. I didn't need to know who they were. I knew that they would find me.
Isn't that the way of it though? It's like whenever you're just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to take the leap of faith. And it's kind of like, you have to cut out the how. You don't need to know the how. And whenever you just take that leap of faith, it's like, it's going to be a yes. It's going to work out. I don't need to know how. You're just going to let go of control. And it's like, I'm in, and it works out beautifully.
Yeah, beautifully. So you talked a little bit about your chapter already and that writing experience, right? How did you, but why did you, why now did you tell that story?
I've actually I felt like the tap was on my, I've been getting this tap from Spirit for probably maybe a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of like how you described this with this book. Like you've been kind of like, nah, I don't know, not yet. But that inner knowing was just really, I won't say heavy because that's not the right word, but it was just like, this is it. This is now. And I feel like I call them divine downloads. I feel like I get them a lot. And I really had like this really passionate divine download. And it wasn't scary. It was really inspiring. And it was the first time I saw this big 30,000 foot view of not just my business, but my life, and where I was really going with the big goosebumps. It was like, okay, this is it. And I haven't really thought about my father in a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I compartmentalized him, put him away in a box, and just like, all right, I'm over you. I'm just kind of, thanks, bye, And it was probably time that I kind of needed to unpackage him and probably deal with some things, So
Yeah.
I think Spirit was kind of like, hey, girl, come on. It's going to relate to your business, which is your passion, your love, and probably going to help in your relationship as well. Not that I have any problems in my marriage or anything like that, but it's going to help you grow there too. And, so I think it was just time. And it was like, all right, Spirit, I trust you.
Well, I think your story is your unique magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you weaved it into your strategy when every author shares a strategy, not only their story, but the strategy that got them into their business, which I think is just a brilliant format, right? So it's really like a workbook or a guide.
Yeah.
And when you shared your strategy and everything, it really started with the struggle. And I was like, wow, it's a brilliant flow chart that you laid out to allow people to take their struggle, their pain, and create their story and weave it so beautifully into their brand that they have their own story. So you did a beautiful, beautiful, remarkable chapter.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What advice would you have for anyone starting their soul aligned business, or they're in something that doesn't make their heart sing? And they're like thinking of shifting, because we've all been in that place. Like, do I do it? Do I take that leap?
Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Just do it.
You know what? Because I used to, let me say it this way. I used to overthink things. I am a recovering overthinker. This hamster wheel up here can like just go and keep you up at night. Don't let it. Follow your heart. Tune into that intuition. It is there for you. It is a gift. And listen to those divine downloads. They really are a gift. And follow that heart. Follow that dream, because it's going to be persistent. Don't listen to that hamster wheel. That ego it's going to get you in trouble. Because the fear, that fear is paralyzing, and it will hold you in a place and cause you stress and could possibly get you sick.
Absolutely. Yeah, things in your body.
Absolutely. So don't overthink it. Just do it.
Yeah. And as the collaborative book, you've read some other chapters, you kind of have a feel for everything. How important do you think this book is for people looking to align themselves in that soul aligns community?
It is it's like a whole thing. You will be able to go through this book. It's like, how is the best way to word this? It's like you can go through this book and you will have the tools you need to start. Even if you already are in business, you will have the tools you need to be able to align your business and feel aligned. There's a better word for this without using the same word, but it's really, 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 really well done. I mean, it's like you've got all kinds of folks in here. Yes, you've got, of course, I'm a brand designer, but you've got folks in here who do other sorts of marketing in there. But you've got other folks in here that do EFT tapping to help you release those blocks. You've got other folks in here, other types of coaches. It's really powerful. So, I mean, this is like, Camille, you've really got a great group of folks here to help like all sorts of it's really beautiful. And the words escape me because it's very passionate. This is a passion project here.
Oh, it's absolutely
and it really
a passion
shows.
project, but I think it came out even better. Like you said, we have, an EFT chapter, we have money mindset, we have strategy, we have branding, we have marketing. There's a website designer in there.
It's amazing because you can go through this and you can
sound
find,
healers.
you can even,
all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Human design.
Human design in there.
So you can find like whatever you need.
Yeah.
Like, either you go through it like chapter by chapter and find what, like you can go it through that way, or you can like, I'm feeling I need this right now at this moment. You can skip around and find what you need at that moment and go, okay, I am set. My business is okay. I'm good here. What else do I need? You're going to be good. You're going to be solid.
Yeah.
And then you join Camille's group and you've got the networking part set. You're golden.
Thank you. Well, Barb, thank you so much for being a part of the book and especially part of this podcast. And I'm excited to see what we do from this point on, because I think this is just the beginning, the stepping stone for all of us, all of the authors.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me a part of this. This book is so amazing, and I'm just excited to see how so many people like embrace it, and it's just wonderful. Thank you so much.
I want to remind everyone that you can get the book yourself on Amazon, either the ebook or the paperback. The Ultimate Guide to Creating Your Soul-Aligned Business, 25 Practical Strategies from the Experts. You can put that in. You can put in Soul Professional and look for it. It should be under Entrepreneurs, Conscious Business, a lot of other ones as well. But absolutely, and I'm sure we'll have the link in the show notes. So get that book. All right. I want to thank everyone for being a part of our podcast today. And for more information about the Soul Professional movement, you can go to soulprofessional.com. This podcast is sponsored by the Natural Life Business Partnership, a global professional organization and business incubator for the soul-aligned professional. If you live in a higher vibration, have an alternative approach to business, and want to help repair the world, come join our next meet and greet. You can look for the next date at your schedule at soulprofessional.com. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you on our next episode.